It's the anti-tracker.
We will return to your scheduled programming shortly, or we are currently experiencing technical difficulties.
What is going on, YouTube? And Michael J. Crawford, the anti-tracker here for part 2 of The Sound of Thunder. So last night we got through a little better than the halfway point, and I'll tell you. So here's the story so far. Michael Burnham is freaking awesome. Saru has hit puberty. Pike had a moment of Kirk in this episode, which was insanely cool. Thomas says, I saw the episode. They removed the SHN from the shuttle, but it's still in the short trek. Oh, thank you for investigating. Thomas is officially the anti-tracker research department. So one of the things that pisses me off more than anything else is blatant retcons. And by the way, Donald, good to see you. The retcon in this one was particularly egregious because they're retconning the episode The Brightest Star, which was filmed at the exact same time that this episode was filmed. For those of you that did not watch the short treks, The Brightest Star is the story of Saru before he joined Starfleet. And so so here's the interesting fact of all this, and I know Thomas has already put most of this in the chat, but as Thomas just said in the chat, they established in Other Discovery that you commonly see a 3-letter initial for a ship painted on the shuttle. And I was going to do some research, and Thomas, if you get a second, check this out, because I'm trying to remember if the Galileo 7 had ENT for Enterprise on it, because I thought it did, but I can't remember. Mercer Crate says, I can no longer scroll in your chat streams. That's bizarre, because I certainly can. That's really, really weird. Anyway, so I'm curious to see if ENT is on the Enterprise shuttles. But at any rate, we know that DSC is on the Discovery shuttles to indicate the vessel that they came from. And when we first see in The Brightest Star, we first see that Georgiou, as a lieutenant, is the person who takes Saru off of his home planet, and the shuttle had an SHO on it. So, of course, everybody said, oh, that's kind of stupid. She's been on the Shinzo for her entire career. That she was a lieutenant on the Shinzo, and she eventually rose to be a captain on the Shinzo. Now, obviously, a lot of us, including myself, pointed out the fact that this is rather stupid. However, it was like, okay, well, it's stupid, but it is theoretically possible. I mean, in fact, I'll tell you that I went to when I was in the Army, I went to basic training at a place called Fort McClellan, Alabama. Now, commonly in the military, you go to basic training, and then after it, you transfer to another facility where you do what's called AIT, or Advanced Individualized Training. And then after that, you get your first deployment or station. And So by pure coincidence, I went to basic training at Fort McClellan, Alabama. I had AIT at Fort McClellan, Alabama. And I had my first station was at Fort McClellan, Alabama. So that kind of thing is possible. But it's also, if you were making a movie, people would be like, really, that's stupid. So the Galileo 7 and NCC 17017 on it, and then it said USS Enterprise. Okay, but it did say Enterprise, but it actually had it spelt out. Thank you, Thomas. So it is theoretically possible that Georgiou spent her entire career on the Shinzo, but whatever. After lampooning it a little bit, making fun of it a little bit, everybody, including myself, completely forgot about that until last night. Why? Well, let me show you. And again, thank you so much to Thomas Potts for digging up this information for me. But here is the Shuttlecraft 03 from the episode The Brightest Star. There, it should be up on the screen as of right now. Now, if you look at the shuttle, it clearly says SHN-03 on the front of the shuttle. And which is fine. So here's the same shuttle from last night's episode in a flashback. Notice that the 03 is still there. This is the exact same shot, but the SHN is gone. And they refer to the vessel that Georgiou was on as the Archimedes. And so the fact that if they realize that, it was kind of stupid that they put it on there. And yeah, John, so the name of the parent ship is spelt out in the other shows, but it's still commonplace to have the name of the ship on the shuttle. So they removed that in last night's episode, so that they can say that she was on the Archimedes. This serves no purpose whatsoever. It would have been less costly and make more sense if Michael Burnham in that scene had simply said, wow, I didn't know that Georgiou had been on the Shinzo that long. And that's really all they could, if they had done that, it would have been done. That's it. So the Discovery shuttles have DSC or something. I don't know. We'd have to take a closer look at the Discovery shuttles. But that SHO was just stupid. All right. But so I did get a little upset about that. I completely lost my mind when they're at Saru's home world, and Pike, with Saru on the bridge, the only Kelpian to have ever left his homeworld, not to mention the only Kelpian to serve in Starfleet. And Pike, when they're trying to initiate contact with the Kelpians, says that Michael Burnham is uniquely qualified to make first contact. Thank you. So, let's see. Yes, so thank you, Thomas. So there is, in fact, and Thomas already found the answer to the question that someone was asking. If you notice, this shuttle up here says DSC on the top. So the Discovery shuttle actually does say DSC. Now, this shuttle down here, it looks like SPD or E. Or, let's see, it's hard to make out, at least for me, because I'm old and everything. I assume that shuttle is from another starship or star base or something, and that's why it has a different name on the side. I don't know what episode this is from or the context, although it looks like if that's Burnham right there, she's wearing her prison outfit still. So that could be a shuttle from the ship, or that could be the transport shuttle that she was on. And B. Cluett says, yes, that was the prisoner shuttle. So yeah, so that obviously In fact, I'll bet you it's SPT for Starfleet Prison Transport. How much you want to bet that's what it is? Which would actually make a little bit of sense. So, yeah, in the Discovery era, it appears pretty clear that the shuttles have a 3-letter abbreviation on it until last night, because they had to retcon the name of the ship that Georgiou was on, which for no reason whatsoever. Or each shuttle has its own name, but that would be fixing an issue in place of the showrunners writing it for them. Well, and that's the thing, is that we know, like, and the thing, Luke, is that, like, for example, on the Enterprise, and this is what had me thinking about this a little bit, is that the Galileo 7, the name of the shuttle was the Galileo. However, the designation of the shuttle is Enterprise Shuttle number 7. And that's why it says USS Enterprise on it, and it also says NCC 1701-7, because it is shuttlecraft number 7. Now, with the Discovery era, like on these pictures that we have right here, that's Discovery Shuttle 01 and Starfleet Prisoner Transport number 21, but the shuttles don't seem to have individual names, at least not there. But if you notice, there's some very faint writing on the side of the shuttle. I'll move my cursor there so you can see it right there. And that could be the shuttlecraft name right there. But we don't know. At least not in this shot. And it's not all that important right now. All right, so now, and by the way, Thomas also wants to see number 8. And how could I refuse such a request? Well, I guess I could, but I won't.
Anal na trach, was betod, doch hiel din me.
Ariel Natris Oris Bazi Bedhead Juchel Dementa. Yeah, I'm not gonna.
And Peter said, and I'm sorry for missing your comment there, Peter, but thank you for reminding me, says, Alabama is where all the Muslim Obama supporters live. Wait, is that what you're saying? Because then you said, Anti-checker, I passed, man. You missed my comment. I passed, unless it was before that. Let's see. Oh, wait, let's see. Anti-checker, I smashed it and passed. Awesome. Contact Center Operations Certificate. Very good, Peter. Very good. Thank you, my friend. Yes, I was, so awesome job, Peter. We're all very happy for you. So now you can start making buttloads of money and sending it my way, because you're that awesome. But no, in all seriousness, congratulations. And in fact, here's an idea. Hey, guys, and going along with, I think, was it Luke that suggested it? How about this? How about you name you say, oh yeah, Captain Georgiou was on the, the Showman, or something like that, right? And then that way you can actually make it work. Thomas like, let's celebrate with Mega number 5. Thomas, I don't know if they're ready for that. All right, so let me start up the episode here, and I will give you guys the same warning I gave last night. Is that one thing that I do when I'm watching these episodes? I can't watch the chat like a hawk, because I have to focus on the episode so I can narrate what's going on and stuff. And I will, if I see a super chat out of the corner of my eye, because they have those bright colors on them and stuff, I will stop for a moment and address it and take a minute in the chat. But other than that, I need to focus on the actual show because I'm on a limitation of time here because I got to go to work in about 2 hours. So, as of this very moment, Saru is imprisoned by the Baul, who we have still not seen, but we've seen their ships. We've seen how, and they have a very imposing method of communication, but we also saw that Captain Pike is a badass and would not back down in the face of this intimidation. However, there is no indication that Baul technology is particularly superior to the Federation. However, Michael did say that Baul managed to, I think she said something about them holding him off. For me, that was in the trailer or something. I don't know, but let's take a look. All right, so Saru is looking around his surroundings, waking up in like what appears to be like a prison cell, but it's actually an interesting looking room. I'll show you guys what it looks like real quick. So this is the room he's being held in. There's obviously a pool of liquid in front of him, a corridor with a force field apparently behind him, and then glowing dots on all the walls for reasons. But let's take a look here. I wonder, maybe the Baul are fish? Could be. And so now it looks like Saru's sister is beamed into the same room as him. So that means that he is now unfortunately stuck in this room with his sister. Unfortunately, sound is messing up. I think it's... There we go. There we go. All right, so his sister is pissed off because she's having a flashback. Man, this episode is like retelling the entire short trek of The Brightest Star. She witnessed the shuttlecraft with Georgiou and Saru leaving in the night sky. So she knew exactly what happened, and she had hoped that she would never see her brother again because she knew that that would be bad for him. Luke, by the way, mentions that, so the Baul, it's actually looks more like Baul, but it's but the Baul are not in the UFP and powerful enough to give them the middle finger if they want. Well, at least Georgiou has that going for her. Yeah, well, true. Georgiou is a complete badass. She apparently flew a shuttlecraft into a hostile area, and yeah. Headphones not working right. You may have thrown your headphones one too many times. I think you're right, Josh. I think, unfortunately, I may have damaged these headphones, so I'm going to have to get some more one of these days. But let's continue on. So the shuttle is taken off, and now we're back in the prison, and she's saying how she was so happy to see him again, but she wished that she would never see him again because it would mean that he was free, the fact that she never saw him, that he was out there roaming space and all that. All right, so now some little drones are flying into the room. Interesting design. Again, the visual effects and everything on this show are pretty cool. I'll show you, the drones are kind of cool looking. There's one of them facing down with Saru. Now you can see Saru is obviously not afraid because of the fact that his gangula is gone and replaced by teeth. I wish I was making that up. And so the thing is scanning him, scanning his sister. I wonder what it's looking for, and we'll find out, I hope. And then it punches, the drone kind of punches Saru into the wall, and they attach restraints to Saru. So these restraints pop out of the wall, holding Saru in place. And, okay, here we go. There's something going on with the liquid. All right, I think we're going to get a look at the Baul now. Waiting for it. Okay. Well, now I understand why people were saying it's the thing that killed Tasha Yar. It does kind of look like that. However, looking at it now, let me once I can get a good shot of it. The alien is cool enough looking, and different enough looking. I'll give him that. There we go. Here's a decent shot of it. You can see it does look kind of like a walking oil slick, kind of like the creature that killed Tasha Yar. But if you also notice, the form of this creature is very thin, much like a kelpian, actually, and actually looks more frail even than a kelpian. So I think that supports my idea that these things are actually the prey of the kelpians, something that I suggested last night. So we'll see if that is indeed the case as we move on through this. In fact, in some ways, it almost looks like a frail old lady with the way that it's kind of hunched over, the hair hanging down. Yeah. Do kelpian dinner then. Some fresh ground kelpian sounds really good right now. All right, so now back on Discovery. Burnham, of course, she is now in full-on casual dress Friday or something, because now they showed she was wearing like this white tunic that looks like long johns, but she's also wearing pants that are gray that we haven't seen before. So notice this is Burnham's uniform that only Burnham gets to wear, because Michael Burnham is awesome. Ozzy says, I might be a genius. I doubt that, but yeah. I don't understand the point of that uniform, other than with a white shirt, they might be trying to symbolize how pure and awesome Michael Burnham is. You know, like an angel. But let's see. So the robot chick is helping her find the information. They're looking at the history. They're looking, by the way, at the information that was downloaded by the giant ball in the last episode, which I called right when this episode opened, and they mentioned the information that they were going to end up using that information to have Burnham sing the day. That's Starfleet yoga pants. Yes, John, that must be it. And so apparently the ball kept track of the biological life forms of this planet for thousands of years. And so what they're doing now is using their scans of kelpians to identify kelpians versus Baul, and using their scans of Saru after he went through the change to identify if other kelpians have gone through the change and how many and all that. So, okay, I can buy that. So she says the Baul could only understand the evolutionary consequences of Vihari if they've actually experienced it before, which is sound. I'll give them that, but it's still, yeah. And I'm sorry, this uniform is just bugging me. Why the hell is Burnham wearing a Starfleet sweatshirt? I don't understand, but all right. So 2,300 years ago, a lot of kelpians were like Saru, and so they're doing a three-dimensional chart. So on this chart, when Tilly was just saying, well, actually you can kind of see it there. So the Baul, there are 23,000 of them. Kelpians 26,000, and evolved Kelpians 29,000. Now the interesting thing is, that's the population of a planet? That makes no sense. But, yeah. anyway, so... Alright, so then she fast forwards a little bit, and check this out. So, at one point in history, and this is still a little over 2,000 years ago, check this out. There are 29,000 Kelpians, 0 unevolved Kelpians, and 350 Baul. 350. So it looks like my theory is correct. The evolved Kelpians are, in fact, predators and ate everybody else. So including the Baul. However, the funny thing is they also ate the other Kelpians, because the evolved Kelpians, if we were looking at this map and saying that the other unevolved Kelpian, does it say units per thousand? That makes more sense. So 350,000 compared to, I guess that would be 29 million. That would make more sense. Thank you, ABJ. I didn't catch that. If it did say that. But yeah, I like that. The caption said that doesn't look right. That's true. Right where I paused it. But it would seem that the Kelpian evolved population did not go up when the Kelpian unevolved and the Baul population dropped down to practically nil. And so, yes, they were not only a predator, they were very aggressive, and one that almost wiped out everybody else. Then, shortly thereafter, it reversed. Whoops, and my... Yeah. Alright, yeah, I know, that doesn't look right. Alright, so then... Wow. So then, again, this is over 2,000 years ago. So this just happened over the course of an incredibly short amount of time. So notice the population now is the Baul 25,275,000, Kelpian unevolved 4,000, and evolved Kelpians 0. Now, here's what I would say. The fact that there are still Baul and Kelpians on this planet makes no sense. Honestly, what the Baul should have done is completely eradicated the Kelpians. How does it make any sense, this whole great balance thing? Why would that make sense at all? And unevolved went from 0 to 4. The only thing that I could see that would make sense is I'm assuming that evolved Kelpians have evolved or have unevolved Kelpian children. And so that way they would, you could see the number going from 0 to a higher number. I guess that could kind of sort of make sense. And bear with me, my computer is being weird on me, so sorry if I had a little bit of a technical thing there. All right, let's move on. So yeah, so now they're a little slow. Burnham and Tilly are being a little slow here, but they're now figuring out that the Baul were originally the prey, and the Kelpians were the original predators. And that, okay. How did Starfleet get the history? The population history came from the giant ball of information from the previous episode, ABJ. So they just got an info dump in the last episode, and they're looking through it, and they found, and you know they're going to do this at least a dozen times, where they're going to run into something they've never seen before and say, let's see if our alien database has any information. And then basically the database that they got from the giant ball is going to replace 7 of 9 as being the info dump of the show. So basically, anytime they don't know something, the giant ball will have a file. Next season on Star Trek Discovery, the Kelpians launch an invasion of the United Federation, and Burnham saves the day. Yes! All right, so now let's continue on. Hector is going 102 degrees and the electricity goes... It's 102 degrees where you are, Hector? Where the hell are you? And then here's another good shot of the Baul. Yeah, definitely. Look at that. Very frail looking creature, although very creepy looking. So, yeah. And so the creature is in the room, and oh, here we go. Here we go. So instead of threat Gangula when provoked, now when Saru is face down with immediate danger, his back head teeth pop out. If he shoots the teeth, I am going to just be done. I mean, he shot the teeth. He effing shot his teeth at the Baul. Man. You have no idea how much I want to break open this bottle right now, but I have to work. All right. So it's confirmed. Saru is now officially a pubescent superhero. Peter says, shame you can't work from home. I do actually work from home, but I can't drink on the job. So, yeah. That's... All right, I got it. I'm going to get through this as are they poisoned? Don't know. I would not be surprised. Oh, however, it looks like the Baul have a force field, so that prevents the teeth from killing the Baul. But that also makes sense that the Kelpians, with the shooting, flying teeth thing, would definitely have a big advantage over the Baul as far as being able to hunt them down and eat them. But if the Baul have the superior technology, why didn't they use force fields before? I mean, obviously they were able to bounce back from near extinction and wipe out the Kelpians, and that was no doubt because of their superior tech. Oh, right. Will they find out, though? I won't tell. Find out which... Oh, you mean the drinking? Yeah, no, I'm not going to go there, man. I don't want to take that chance. My job, even though I would rather be doing YouTube full-time, my job is important because it does, without it, I could not pay the bills. While you guys certainly make a huge difference in my household income, and I couldn't pay the bills without YouTube, but I also couldn't pay the bills without my job. Right now, I need both. Let's see, Mr. Miles would probably tell on me. Yes, I think he would. The info dumps of Star Trek, TOS, Spock, TNG, Data, DS9, Dax, and Bashir, Voyager 7, Enterprise, T'Pol, Star Trek Discovery Season 1, Burnham, Star Trek Discovery Season 2, Spaceball. And Burnham, because Burnham has given a couple of info dumps as well. So, but at least Burnham has a gigantic 100,000-year-old brain that apparently is almost her equal. Now, the deadliest person on the ship will be Saru. What a transformation from a fragile guy. Yet he's still only second because Michael is still on the ship. Very, very true. All right, so let's move on here. I'm going to try to get this through as quickly as possible. So they're saying that he's the first Kelpian to evolve the teeth in over 2,000 years, and that his reaction was the same as centuries ago to try and kill him. That's interesting. The Federation has no idea what they've welcomed into their ranks. So the Baul are genuinely afraid of the Kelpians and think that the Kelpians are a menace. And yet, that kind of supports my thing. Why the hell didn't the Bao'u simply exterminate the Kelpians? If you have for example, I'll tell you, if, let me just say, let's say there's a strain of, try to pick a creature, so there's a type of penguin that eats people. All right, this penguin is running around eating people, and this penguin is very adaptable to different climates, and suddenly this penguin starts spreading out all over the place, eating people. We would not hesitate to put that penguin into the realm of extinction, even if that penguin was cute and intelligent, because it's a matter of survival. So the fact that they did not wipe them out makes no sense. This whole great balance thing now makes less sense than it ever did, because they should have just wiped out the Kelpians. So they are Spider-Man. Yes, they are definitely Spider-Man. Lions eat people. Yeah, but I'm saying like if lions were intelligent and actually on the verge of wiping out humanity, I don't think people would say, oh, well, we shouldn't hurt them. And most wildlife that kills people, it's not because humans are their preferred diet. It's usually an attack of opportunity or desperation, right? So, like, and that's a big difference. It's not like you have major cities being overrun by mountain lions, but you will occasionally have somebody out on the edges of a city get attacked by a mountain lion that wandered too close. That kind of thing. So yes, killer penguins, that's my theory. Your species does not deserve a second chance. So why did you give him one? Why didn't you simply wipe them out 2,000 years ago? John says, I'll give you Iran as a counter-argument. What? Well, the thing about Iran is they're not actually trying to eat people and wipe out the human race. They are simply very militaristic, and they oppress their own people. But Iran is genuinely not an expansionist nation in that they're not attacking and invading neighboring countries. And when another nation does attack a country unprovoked, we do take action, as we did in Kuwait. So, yeah. Note to self, never sit on the face of an evolved female Kelpian. Yeah, that would be a very bad thing to do, especially if those teeth are poisonous, which I don't know that they've said. I didn't hear anything. Killer bikini penguins. Well, there you go. Now we're getting even better. All right. The great balance is the only way to ensure you do not destroy everything in your path, or you wipe them out because they are a plague. And so then Saru is trying to argue that their great balance was actually just their way of excusing themselves of murder. And they're saying they'll never allow the past to be repeated. The great balance will endure, basically. So the Bao'u, interestingly enough, are coming across as relatively peaceful and scientific. They are actually maintaining the population within a certain safety limits, but they believe in the sanctity of life, obviously, because they don't want to simply wipe out the Kelpians. Further, they are not going to simply kill Saru. They want to analyze him and study him, because that would make sense for a peaceful, scientific, advanced people. So the Bao'u are actually coming across as not, I mean, granted, they actually are really creepy looking, but at least based on their actions, they're acting out of defense and scientific curiosity. But that is true. They could just be tasty. The Kelpians. And so now, okay, So this makes no sense as far as the dialogue compared to what is happening. So the Baul just finished talking about how we're going to study you and we're going to neutralize you. He didn't say kill. He said neutralize. I assume they meant hold them prisoner or something like that for the rest of their lives. However, then they bring in one of those flying drones, and I am not kidding, puts out a bunch of little blades, starts spinning them, and is heading for his head like it's literally just going to saw open his face. That is not analyzing. That is murder. But whatever. Yeah, this is really dumb. Oh, and another superpower, and I will show you. And this is an even dumber one than before. So besides his super teeth shooting powers, he is now super strong, and you see the restraint on the one hand. He broke the restraint. You can see the sparks flying because he broke the other restraint with his bare hands, or well, just with the force of his wrist, apparently. And is now he's reaching for this drone. I don't know what he thinks he's going to do to it. What? He's crushing the drone. That. And what's with the sparks when he breaks stuff? Is that like his? I'm trying to say, is his wrist glowing there? Like his wrist can shoot energy, or is it just that he's really strong and the heat from the metal being ripped? So yeah, but here's the stupid thing. This is the dumbest thing about all this. Oh, hey, Bird of Prey, good to see you. Here's the dumbest thing about all this. The Baul did the initial wiping out of most of the Kelpians 2,000 years ago. They have had the Kelpians under complete control for 2,000 years. And yet they couldn't figure out a restraint that would hold a Kelpian. They can't figure out a way to restrain something that they wiped out 2,000 years ago. But yeah, but the meat gets all stringy at that stage. That's true. That's true. The Kelpian meat is a little stringy once they go through their evolution, apparently. So yeah, did Hulk have Kelpian? Well, I'm thinking Hulk is a human Kelpian hybrid, actually. All right, so yeah, so now Saru uses his superpowers to break free. He's another probe shows up, and yeah, he's just like manhandling these little drones, punching them around, destroying everything in the room. He's now ripping the restraints off of his sister. So Saru is like now the ultimate badass, I guess. And so now Saru is trying to explain to his sister that he is what his people naturally become after a certain point. And so I am debating the Kelpians are actually eaten. Bird of Prey, I don't think the Kelpians are eaten at this point. I think that the Baul simply kill them to prevent them from hitting their evolutionary stage and to keep their population low enough to be manageable. So Saru is... Oh, geez. Okay, so, and yet, this is not a flashback, just so you know. This is actually happening now. But you see, Saru's doing the same thing he did in The Brightest Star, where he's grabbing fragments of Baul technology and slapping it together. How much you want to bet that he's about to make a communicator with this? Let's find out. Because so Saru is the Kelpian MacGyver, apparently, yes. So now Michael Burnham in her Starfleet issue yoga outfit, is explaining to Pike what's going on. And this outfit is really bugging me. I'm sorry. I know it seems like a trivial thing, and it really ultimately is. But that outfit that Burnham is wearing, besides the fact that it is simply not flattering, granted, it's not as bad as Tilly's midsection here with these uniforms, but it's just not very flattering to her shape. And it's not like Sonequa is not an unattractive woman. And so, in fact, I'll tell you, I think Sonequa would probably look pretty freaking hot in a TOS uniform. But this outfit does the opposite of flattering her. This outfit looks frumpy. That's the best word I can come up for it. It doesn't look like it fits properly, and it really just, yeah. Everything. Mrs. Antrager know you and Tilly are. Does Mrs. Antrager know you and Tilly are having a kid? What, Josh? No, Tilly is definitely not my thing. So, unattractive by design. I think you're actually right. It's like, if for some reason the SJW nonsense is like, well, if you make a woman look pretty, that's somehow degrading to her, right? So we have to take attractive enough people, but then make them look as unattractive as possible, because if you look at Michael Burnham and say, oh, she looks nice, then you're raping her or something. I mean, that's kind of the attitude that people have about this kind of crap. And Tilly is strictly in the hands of Captain Foley. I mean, granted, I did comment about her weight last night, and I still think that, I mean, if you look at, now this shot of her isn't as bad as the one I was looking at last night, but she has gotten so big, and yet 2 episodes ago, she won a marathon against people that were in excellent physical condition. No, just no. All right, let's move on. So Pike is trying to think of a peaceful solution to contact the Ba'u and let them know that they can work all together. Oh, jeez. They do these little things that are just so grating, because it's clearly they're doing it because A, they know nothing about the real military, right? They know absolutely nothing about the real military, and so they don't bother to research it. And B, they have to try to make Michael Burnham awesome in any given situation, even when it doesn't make any freaking sense. But let's take a look at this. I'm going to show you guys a brief scene, and we'll talk about it a little bit. All right, so you can see that we have Tilly and Michael and Pike, and they were talking about the thing with the Ba'u, right? Now the Ba'u are about to call. They're going to hail Discovery. Now, I want you to pay close attention to this. Now, in any and all prior Trek, if somebody hails the ship, what happens? Every Trek, every single iteration of Trek to this point, when an alien hails the ship that is the centerpiece of this show, well, it's not just that they answer, Peter. Who answers? Who specifically answers? Who gives the order? Right? So, for example, original series, Uhura might say, Captain, we're getting a hail. And Kirk would say, put it on screen. Star Trek The Next Generation, Worf would say, Captain, they are hailing us. And Picard would say, open a channel, Mr. Worf. Right? And so the person in charge would always make that decision to initiate contact with the alien. All right. Now, there are times, and this is important to recognize because I don't want people to think that I'm being completely unreasonable here. There are times where the first officer may take the prerogative and actually give the order. So, for example, if Picard is sitting there and Riker's sitting there on the bridge and Worf says, "We have an incoming hail," Riker could, in fact, say, "Put it on screen," but he would always be looking at Picard, or Picard would give him a nod or something so that everybody knows that, okay, this is from the boss. All right. I want you to pay attention to this. It's subtle. It is subtle-ish.
Well, if we can help them understand that Saru's not a threat, these people need not be a threat.
Sir, we're receiving a hail from the Baul.
We should accept it.
Pike had to look to Burnham to see if it was okay to answer. Look carefully at Pike here. He has to look to Burnham, and then Burnham tells him to accept the hail. This deflates all the awesomeness we saw from Pike earlier. So now he is looking not to his first officer, but to his science officer for permission to talk to the mean old aliens that he was just being a badass to like 10 minutes ago in this episode. Because, I'm sorry, the sequence with Pike standing up to the Baul was pure gold. It was, and I said this last night, it was Captain Kirk level badassery there. But now, Pike turns into, "Oh, golly, I don't know if we should answer. Hey, Michael, should I answer the call? I'm scared." No! And I'm sorry, I know that there are people that like this show, and if you're one of them, I don't think anybody that's currently watching this is one of them, but if one of you that likes Discovery comes on and watches this live stream, please keep in mind, I want this show to be good. I genuinely do. And there are aspects of this particular episode that I've sung high praises of. I think that the storyline is actually interesting, what they're doing with the Baul and the Kelpians' relationship, even though the whole thing with the Great Balance now makes no sense at all. But I think that Saru's evolution, while an interesting idea, could be better. But then you piss all over it by taking your badass lead, Pike, and then turning him into that nerdy dude that I use in my reviews and saying, "But wait, maybe we should ask Michael Burnham first." Yeah. Oh, I didn't mute it. All right, so the hail was from Saru. So I'm just like 10 for 10 with predictions on this episode. So Saru has clearly made a communicator out of the freaking scraps lying around, which, by the way, were not communication tech. I mean, they were killbot drones, and he rips them apart and makes a communicator out of it that can reach Discovery. So he's saying he's with Serana inside a Baul structure. They don't know where they are, but they can't find them on sensors because there's some kind of shield that they saw earlier. So now Burnham is filling Saru in on what they learned about his planet's history. Which, okay. Although Saru already knows this, so why do we need to have Michael explain something? Ugh. So, what is the definition of pointless dialogue? I will tell you, because this episode has now perfectly defined what pointless, bad, lazy writing really is. Okay? I want you to, just very, very simple. When one character knows a piece of information that we, by the way, witnessed that character discover, right? That is, okay, so we know what the truth is, right? Michael Burnham knows what the truth is because we watched Michael Burnham discover the truth. And further, another character knows ultimately what the truth is. Saru learned the truth in a different way, and we watched Saru learn the truth. So Michael knows the truth, Saru knows the truth, and we, the audience, know the truth. And then we got to sit there for a minute while Michael tells Saru what she learned when we watch them learn it. And Saru already knows. This is the absolute quintessential, pointless, lazy dialogue. There is no need for this sequence of lines in the script because all she has to do is say something like, you know, Saru, we've learned a lot about your people. And Saru could say something like, let me guess, you learned that the Kelpians are predators. You know, and that way, then you could have shortened that scene, tightened it up a little bit, and indicated that, yes, they both know what's going on. But instead, you have this drawn-out thing where she explains the whole thing to him, and then he turns around and explains it right back to her. So they are both explaining it to each other, and they both know it, and we already know it. This is ridiculous beyond compare. Sorry. All right, so, and then... Saru's sister. Okay, so now, once again, we know we're in horrifically bad writing territory here. So now Saru's sister is joining into this conversation, and she actually says, it will not be easy to convince my people of the truth about the culling and the great balance and all that. Which Saru already went through that for the first half of this episode. Not to mention the short trek, The Brightest Star. We understand that the Kelpians are deeply rooted in tradition and that they believe that this is an essential part of life. You don't have to tell it to us again. Now, I understand repetition sometimes can be good, but this is just stupid. This is... Thomas, thank you. Giving me a break. Says, Skylines for a short time after this episode. Maybe if I can finish it quickly. We still have a little bit of about 10-15 minutes to go. So I will try to get through it as quickly as I can because this is really beginning to piss me off. In the meantime, let's get your number 8 up here. Oh, we got to unmute it. Come on, button. Unmute before it starts. Come on, come on. There we go.
Anal na trach, was betad, doch hiel dienle.
Ariel natris oris bazi bedhead duchel dementa. Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Great job, Bird of Prey. You are the only person I know that can take Excalibur and make it a better film. Great job. Was that the Guardian of Forever, by the way? It did look like it, didn't it? And by the way, Brian, thank you so much. Where's DC Fontana when you need her? 100% true. DC Fontana was a great writer. Ronald D. Moore was a great writer. There were a lot of great writers involved in Trek. And Trek and you guys know, I go off on this so much, I must sound like a broken record, and I'm surprised you guys haven't gotten sick of me saying this. But you guys know I'm a stickler for the writing. I want strong writing more than anything else in a show, especially a science fiction show like Star Trek. The show must have good writing. Before the visual effects are important, before the setting is important, before the high concept sci-fi stuff, before the character stuff, you have to have good writing. If you don't have good writing, you have no foundation to work with. And this show has got some of the worst writing I've ever seen on a major budget production, period. This is like Tommy Wiseau wrote this script. That's how bad this is. Yeah, Bird of Prey was dead on with that, wasn't he? Luke, thank you so much. Throws €5 into the mix, says, that's exactly how SJWs behave. They discuss how diversity could improve said show, even though they already believe it. Freaking parrots. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It is just an echo chamber that we're seeing. And Luke, if you want a super chat reward, please let me know. Uber chat 6, of course, my friend. All right, so I get a minute off here. Thank you.
I now pronounce you man and turd. You may now kiss.
Joshua, what are you doing?
Nothing. I'm definitely not making you kiss Law. I repeat, I am not making you kiss Law. I'm definitely not.
Hello, unfortunately there's not going to be a part 4. Dad just fixed the computer and he promises not to destroy it again as long as I don't do another one of those, so there's going to be no part 4. Wait, hold on, I just got a text message. Please do these videos, Part 4 is very anticipated. Nope, I quit.
Get him.
Sing it! Sing it! Sing it!
And notice the shirtless Captain Foley there. And so, by the way, Stretch Pants McGee says, the original Twilight Zone had some minimal sets and effects, but great writing. You were understanding, Rod Serling wrote a lot of the old Twilight Zone. In fact, I think he wrote like most of it. And he was a brilliant writer. I wish Rod Serling wrote some episodes of Star Trek. That could have been freaking awesome. But don't worry, Stretch Pants McGee. Do not worry, my friend, because guess what? And I am not even making this up. On April 1st, CBS All Access premieres The Twilight Zone. And yes, I will be doing reviews of that. You better believe it. So, oh boy, that's going to be awesome. So, Bird of Prey asks if we've already talked about how they edited the SHN. We actually did, in fact, talk about that at length. And in fact, Bird of Prey, we even showed a couple of pictures to compare. So this is the shuttlecraft from The Brightest Star, and this is the shuttlecraft from last night's episode where they retconned the name of the ship for no apparent reason whatsoever. But thank you for the $2. I do truly appreciate it, Bird of Prey. And if you want to request a super chat, you certainly can, or you can save it for later if you want. You guys are just not going to let me get to it, are you? Greetings from the Med Bay. Good to see you, Doc. Rod Serling is freaking awesome. That's a torture device from the Eyes Wide Shut. No, actually, it's a torture device from Clockwork Orange. That's the picture I showed Joshua to use. More drunk anti-trucker on April 1st. Yes, April 1st is going to be I don't know what day of the week April 1st is. If anybody has a calendar, let me know what day of the week April 1st is. Yeah, so remember the 04 Twilight Zone remake? Yeah, and it was not great, but it wasn't horrible. I'm expecting this one to be horrible. T-Berg throws $5 into the tip jar. Thank you so much. 5 Canadian bucks. I shouldn't be that excited, but thank you, T-Berg. And wants to see Uber Chat number 3. Still my personal favorite of the Uber Chats. April 1st is a Monday. Cool. So that means it'll be my day off. And so I will probably be able to do it as soon as... Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. Ugh. All right, break time's over. Let's get back into this so we can finish it. And by the way, Luke, I hope that we do get a chance to get to a little bit of City Skylines because I got something in the works just for you there. All right, so let's continue on. So they're trying to figure out what can we do. Michael Burnham's like freaking out because, oh, you know, they've been conditioned for thousands of years. How are we going to undo all this in a short period of time?
The sphere. The sphere triggered your Vihari.
Ooh, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. At least a little bit, because Michael Burnham didn't suddenly come up with the perfect idea. It was Tilly that actually comes up with the idea. Remember, in the Giant Ball episode, the spear triggered Saru's ganglia to fall out. So what they're saying is to use the same signal that the ball sent out across the entire planet, and that would make everybody's ganglia fall out, and that would be very bad for the Baul.
Yes, but we need to accelerate the process. We cannot allow the Baul to take action before Vihari is complete for all Kelpians.
And so yeah, and Saru points out, though, and this is a problem. This is actually a problem, because if I remember correctly, in the ball, and welcome, Nerdrotic, good to see you, my friend. They use sound. I haven't. Are they using? I don't know. She just said the signal. I didn't hear her say sound. But here's the thing: is that in that episode, it really felt. It was like it took several days for Saru to get through the whole process of losing his ganglia. And remember, he was dying in his quarters and how horrible that was. If they do that, and it took several days, then the Kelpians would all get wiped out by the Baul. And so Saru is quite correct that they need to find a way to accelerate it. And by the way, and I know I've driven this into the ground, and I apologize, but I have to say it one more time. Look at that body. This is the body of a marathon-winning cadet. I wish I was making that up. All right, so so now they're trying to figure out what to do.
If we isolate the active frequencies in the sphere's transmission, the corresponding sound wave should speed up the biological response rate.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Sound in space. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Nerdrotic. You just broke my head. Thank you so much. And by the way, yes, marathon winning body here. Yes, marathon winner right there. Oh, I forgot to turn off the audio. Sorry. So yeah. So what Michael, so while Tilly comes up with the initial idea, Michael comes up with the ultimate solution, of course, because Michael Burnham is awesome. And so what Michael says, and let me read this to you because I want to make sure that I have it actually, the technobabble actually correct here. Okay, so here's what Michael says. If we isolate the active frequencies in the sphere's transmission. Now, remember the sphere. It was shooting radiation at the Discovery. Remember that? It was radiation. So Michael says if we isolate the active frequencies in the sphere's transmission, the corresponding sound wave should speed up the biological response. Right? What? Look, that's like, okay, I'll tell you, this is what she's saying. I'm not even making this up. So what she's saying is, you know how sunlight can cause skin cancer, right? Well, if we could isolate the exact frequency that causes skin cancer, in this case, ultraviolet light, and we focus that, then the resulting sound wave would give everybody skin cancer instantaneously. That is what she is saying here. And by the way, I think that was a brilliant analogy on my part, but that is 100% accurate. Yeah, they should have used rock and roll music. We all know the Beastie Boys would have taken care of this. And then the Baul will have to face... and so Pike is concerned, and this is a reasonable concern. Pike is saying that we can't be responsible for the extinction of the Baul. So, yeah. The sphere is gone. Where does the transmission come from? Well, obviously from Michael Burnham's ass, right? That's where all great things come from, right? And so Pike is concerned that if they evolve the Kelpians, that they might wipe out the Baul. But then Michael points out that the Baul are technologically superior, so they wouldn't be able to just instantaneously wipe them out. Except that we just saw Saru rip apart their technology like it was toilet paper. But, you know, whatever. So, yeah, what is with Star Trek Discovery and their boner for sound? Eric, I have no freaking idea. It doesn't make sense. But, yeah. Radiation causes sound. We learned that on Discovery. Oh my God. Oh. This is, here's the thing. I know that to a lot of people this wouldn't seem funny, but you guys know that I care deeply about the writing of my science fiction. All right? And this is such bad writing. It is so loud. We already have the radiation causes sound waves, right? Yes, Picard did, in fact, make the opposite choice when the one race was keeping the other addicted. You're right. He kind of nonchalantly, accidentally made it so that their shipment wouldn't get there on time, so that but he left it up to them to deal with it. All right, so I want you to pay close attention. This is Saru speaking. All right, listen carefully to the choice of words here. I just find this hilarious. Oh wait, I didn't. Okay, unmute it so you can hear it.
Could face the thing they fear most about us. Not our so-called baser instincts. Our rage.
Not our so-called baser instincts. No, our rage. Because rage is a base instinct! Are the writers this freaking stupid? Yeah. All right, let's move on. There is no baser instinct than pure rage. There... Oh, okay, so it's just the way that Doug Jones delivered the line, maybe. Because the way... So, because what he's saying is... Because this doesn't make any sense. The way that Doug Jones delivers this line, you heard it just now, right? But here's how it continues. He goes, so, not our so-called baser instinct, our rage. We will show them that we can move beyond that and have a new balance, blah, blah. So he's basically saying, we're not going to have rage. But he just finished that sentence suggesting that rage was the opposite of their base instinct. And now he's saying that they're not going to have rage. This is really bad writing, really bad directing, and I feel embarrassed that Doug Jones delivered that line the way he did. I'm hoping that it's an editing thing and that and Doug Jones did not mean to deliver the line in that way. All right. Oh, so now he's saying this is why the Red Angel brought them here, is to save the Kelpians. Of course, why not? I charge it with the crime word salad. You are 100%. They know nothing, understand nothing. They repeat random things like they heard like parrots. Hey, look, consistency, yes. Okay, so now Saru is so good at MacGyvering that communicator that all they have to do is send Saru the magic signal to use his communicator to send the signal out to everywhere on the planet through the Bau network. And, Chunky Tilly is going to send the signal down with the proper frequencies of radiation that will then cause the entire planet to just go. What? What? All right. Look. So we already saw that Saru built a communicator out of random parts from drones. Now, I'm going to show this. I'm not going to bother with the sound on this one, but this is so stupid. Okay, so Saru, remember, they're getting ready to send this transmission to everywhere on the planet so that everybody will suddenly evolve. So what does he do? Does he grab his communicator and hack his way into their computer? No! He punches a hole in the floor and plugs something into the floor! Not making that up! Here we go! Look at this. He's just taking this thing and jamming it. He just punched a hole in the floor, and he's jamming this piece of the drone into the floor, and that makes everything work. That fixes the universe, apparently. So now he's warning his sister how everybody's going to go through Vahara as soon as they do this, and it's going to be, including his sister, it's going to be incredibly painful, blah, 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 blah. This part actually makes a little bit of sense, but I'm so infuriated about the last 5 minutes of writing that I don't care. And he's saying it'll be a new beginning because their species will live on. Hey, R2-D2 jams his thing into a hole in the wall and fixes everything. That's true. That is true, but that is Star Wars. So... I don't expect the same level of writing from Star Wars. I expect better story from Star Wars than what we got in recent stuff, but I don't expect that level of writing. All right, so they started the transmission with the radiation that causes sound waves because why not quantum? And all the Kelpians are now going through their evolutionary change. And so, yeah, 63% of the Kelpians, according to Michael Burnham, are now experiencing Vahari already. They're all running around screaming. It looks very painful. And Saru's holding her, saying, it'll be over soon. Uh-oh, and now the whole place is shaking. It's like an earthquake. Oa says she detects massive activity on the planet. What's going on? Oh, there's a structure under the water 50 kilometers in diameter. What is this, the freaking Death Star now? So we have some kind of giant base or something. It's like a hexagon-shaped spaceship that's slowly, and I mean slowly, granted the thing is huge, so it makes sense that it's moving slow. But you can see, this is what's rising out of the water. This 50-kilometer across, no, it's 50 kilometers in diameter, she said. So, but yeah. Yeah, hail Scroob, yes, it's Megabade! Run! Alright, so the Bawu base is coming out of the water. I wonder how they built that. Alright, okay, so wait a minute. Alright, I know that they are not going to do anything with this, but I just want to point this out. Because it's some nice visual effects. Really is. I mean, I've said that before. But for reference, Death Star 1 is 160 kilometers. Mega Blvd Snoke is 60 kilometers. So this thing's about the size of Snoke's Star Destroyer. Actually, it's bigger because the Star Destroyer was 60 kilometers wide, but had a very narrow depth. Where this thing is circular, so it's actually much larger than Snoke's Star Destroyer, but not nearly as large as the Death Star. Its diameter would only be about a third the size of the Death Star, and of course it's more of a disc, not a sphere. But all that being said, keep in mind this thing is about 50 kilometers across, and based on this shot, I would say it's probably between 50 to, well, between 25 and 100 kilometers offshore from this vantage point that we're seeing right now. This thing rising out of the water like this, and if you look carefully, you can kind of see right in this area and right here, these, now remember, this thing is 50 kilometers. Which means that these waves here are probably several hundred feet high. That is a massive, by the way, if you play City Skylines, you know where I'm going with this. This is a massive tsunami heading straight for Saru's village. How much you want to bet that no tsunami ever hits the village? How much you want to bet that we never see a tsunami hit landfall in this episode? Wow, and they actually do show, wow, I gotta, let me go back, so I want to let you guys see this. If you look carefully as the thing's rising, I'll bring up the visual for you. Look carefully at the water line here, and you can see the tsunami. You can actually see it. Look at it, you can see it moving towards the camera there. That is a massive tsunami that would wipe out everything. Not just Saru's village, but everything probably in a several thousand kilometer radius. But yeah. You don't know what distance it is from Saru's village, maybe thousands of miles. No, you can tell based on the size of the ship relative to the distance and the amount of water in between, that it's somewhere between 25 and 100 kilometers away. I mean, that's not that, I don't think I'm too far off there eyeballing. Plus, we saw an aerial shot of the area a minute ago, and in fact, if we really want to, let's take a look, because we have scale to work with. Let me go back where, all right, let me, almost there, although now it's, all right. Okay. Oh yeah, it's not that far at all. Here's an aerial shot of the event happening. So, using my mouse pointer, here is the object itself. So this distance that my mouse is bouncing back and forth between right now is approximately 50 kilometers. Here's Saru's village. I would say that that's a little over 50 kilometers away. So, yes, this tsunami should destroy Saru's village. So, I got to pat myself on the back for my incredibly accurate approximation earlier. All right, so, let's see. Yeah, and you're right. The water should recede from the village first, and then come out in the form of a tsunami. But they're not going to do that, of course, because quantum. They're just, yeah. Only Bird of Prey tsunamis destroy. That's true. Bird of Prey is the tsunami master. That much is true. I'm right now. I'm just waiting for the stupid show to catch up. We're almost done. Ancient Kelpian record player with 10 needles. That, well, you know, and the thing is, the Kelpians used to make the needles out of their neck teeth. All right, so now Saru's sister is now getting better. Her ganglia fell off into Saru's hand, which is kind of gross. But now, apparently, all of the Baul, or all of the Kelpians have superpowers. So the Baul start shooting a laser out of their giant 50-kilometer ship at all the towers in the Kelpian cities. So they're going to wipe out the Kelpians from the look of it. So yeah, it sounds like they're going to wipe out the entire Kelpian race rather than let them all evolve. Which makes sense! This is a move of self-defense by the Baul. They know the Kelpians are going to eat them. The Kelpians are true predators, not the Baul. The Baul have been killing in self-defense. The Kelpians are murderous, cannibalistic monsters. And so Pike is trying to talk the Baul down from committing genocide. Oh, damn! Oh, damn! And in the middle of all this crap, another beautiful Pike moment. Why the hell can't Pike have these great moments and forget about the crap? Oh, and by the way, I mentioned this last night. For those of you that were watching last night, look at her robotic eye. It is the same eye you see on the Kelpians and the same eyes you see on Robot Girl. They only have one set of contacts that everybody shares, apparently. But okay, so this is the this is really pissing me off, because it pissed me off last night too, because these badass Pike moments are so good that it makes me think of what this show could have been. So here's what Pike does. The Baul are literally charging up their massive last-ditch effort survival game to blow up all of the pylons and kill every Kelpian on the planet. And Pike, I'm going to read it to you. This is absolutely brilliant writing. Okay. All right, so this is Pike's speech on the open comm frequency to the Baul. And again, I'm going to let you hear it, because this is freaking. This is what this entire series should be, is freaking Captain Pike when he's not being, having to turn to Michael Burnham for permission to answer the phone. All right, look at this. And look at the look on his face, the tone of his voice. Everything about this is so good.
This is Captain Pike. I will not allow you to wipe out an entire race. Your fear of the Kelpians has blinded you to a peaceful solution. Starfleet can help you negotiate a new balance between your two species.
All right, so you're with it so far. This is pretty much standard Star Trek trope here, right? You've heard Picard say this, you've heard Kirk say this, you've heard every Starfleet captain says something to this effect. Now, how does Pike dial it up to 11? The same way he did earlier. And this is so freaking badass right here. So, here we go.
Protecting everyone on your world. However, if you choose to murder the entire Kelpian population, you will become our enemies. Choose wisely.
Bam! That is how you whip out your manhood and slap it in their face and make them think twice about what they are doing. All right? Yeah, you're right. Too many camera moves. But damn, that was good. That was, I mean, if the whole series was like that, I would be saying this is one of the best Star Trek series ever, right? But for him, you know, but the whole thing is, oh, I don't know if I should answer the phone, Michael. Tell me, what should I do? You know, no. The Pussy Pike needs to die. But Badass Pike, man, that could be so freaking awesome. Let me mute that. All right, so they're activating the pylons. So Pike is going to order photon torpedo strikes against the pylons. Okay, this is what is Pike's obsession with photon torpedoes? I really want to know. Pike needs to grow a pair. Well, he has a pair. It's just that they seem to be retractable because they only come out at certain points in the show. But the thing is, he's arming photon torpedoes to take out these pylons. He armed photon torpedoes to take out Spock's shuttle. Photon torpedoes are like nukes. If they fired photon torpedoes into every Kelpian village, they would kill every Kelpian. But whatever. They should have been phasers. But whatever. And so the Bao's going to kill us all. Saru's convinced that the Discovery will stop them. The Bao are firing. It looks pretty bad. Discovery is trying to help. Uh-oh, uh-oh. What is it? Yes. It is the Red Angel. The Red Angel has arrived, folks. So, will we get a decent look at the Red Angel this time? Saru is looking right at the Red Angel. And this is kind of, I kind of like this shot. This is Saru looking at the Red Angel for the first time. Oh, that's kind of nice. Even though I know this is an overdone trope where you see a reflection in someone's eye, I think this is a well-done one. And so, should I... All right, we'll watch, we'll get the reveal together. What is there, if there's a reveal? Looks very feminine. All right, there it is. And there, okay. So we now have a focused picture of the Red Angel. That's frickin' Michael Burnham. It's either Michael Burnham. I don't think it's Tilly. It doesn't look chunky enough to be Tilly. I think that's Michael Burnham. Mercer thinks it's Tilly. I don't know. I mean, yeah, the angel is a little thick on the thighs here, but I see that, but I still think this is Michael. I think we're looking at Michael because keep in mind it's wearing some kind of body suit that's like a space suit or something. That's obviously a helmet. So you think it's Georgiou? I think it's Michael. Or maybe it's Georgiou, Michael Burnham, and Tilly all rolled into one person. Like the three. They're the ultimate trinity. They replace Father, Son, and Holy Spirit with Georgiou, Tilly, and the Holy Burnham. That's what it is. Oh, Lordy. Yeah, I think it's Burnham. I do. All right, so the Red Angel is just floating there. And the Red Angels release some kind of magic red energy that shuts down the Baowu weapons. Yeah, the three Voltroned into an angel. Yeah, it's just the Trinity. It's Georgiou, Burnham, and Tilly all rolled into one. And they're saying how advanced the technology is, blah, blah, blah. That it should be impossible for it to do this, but of course it's doing it anyway. We know that there's time travel involved in the show. So yeah, that's got to be... It's either Burnham or Tilly from the future. But I think Burnham. I really do think it's Burnham. You think it's Janeway? Worf. I don't think it's Worf. All right, so now, you know, they... And so Saru and his sister are embracing and oh my God, it's got to be Burnham. It has to be Burnham. All right, because I'll show you. So, oops, that's the wrong button. All right, bring this up. So this is Saru and his sister looking at the Red Angel as it's taking off. And Saru's sister, the line that was just before this was, "That is what you came to find." Okay? That is what you came to find. And by the way, do not forget that Michael is the name of the most powerful angel. The Archangel Michael is who defeated Satan in the Bible. So it would make, this would all add up. But check this out. So Saru's sister says, "That is what you came to find." This is the next line. You'll see the subtitle. A savior. Michael Burnham, the savior. Michael Burnham is God. There we go. Michael Burnham is God. And so now we're back on the Kelpian homeworld. All the Kelpians are like excited because they can be assholes now and eat people. I guess. And they're all like rubbing their necks because their nasty gangula fell out. Now they all have neck teeth, apparently. There's only a couple minutes left of this, and this is all the post-action follow-up crap. Maybe the Red Angel's Ash. No, it's definitely female. It is definitely female. So, yeah, they're sitting there on the shore. Okay, this is just stupid. So we already established, looking at that thing. So the ship obviously crashed. And it's only about 50 to 75 kilometers away, and you can see it behind them as they're sitting on the beach. Look at the ship behind them. And nice, calm waters. Yeah, Lorca should be Satan. Lorca should come back and be Satan. That would be cool. And but yeah. But yeah, no tsunami. Everything's fine. Everybody has neck teeth now. Michael Burnham is the savior. They can all begin to worship Michael Burnham. And they're all holding their gummies, which is really their gangula. It's kind of gross. They're all sitting there holding... It'd be like, imagine if your ears fell off and you're just walking around going, look at that. And so now Saru and his sister have a little exchange glances. And back on Discovery... we see Ash sitting alone in the mess hall, drinking a cup of coffee or something. Or no, well, it's not coffee, but it's like wine or something. Pike is showing him a report. So Pike is sharing Saru's report with Ash, from Section 31, because Pike is apparently all of a sudden being a dumbass. The entity appears to be a humanoid wearing a mechanized suit. Well, that we could see. Exhibiting technology far beyond present Federation capabilities. Also true. So, it's someone, he says. And whether human or alien, it has extremely advanced technology. Someone who's manipulating the fates of entire species. Control, which models Section 31 is probably rightfully alarmed by. So, here's something interesting. He's saying a time-traveling being pursuing its own agenda because of the tachyons. They have no evidence that it's actually time-traveling, but why not? So, yeah. Here's the thing. Okay, what if... And I wish Darren were here right now because he's the big fan of Enterprise and he hates that I like to lump Discovery and Enterprise in the same timeline. What if Michael Burnham is trying to win the temporal Cold War? I'm just saying that could be. And so Ash is still talking to Pike. It's Future Guy from Enterprise. Yeah. Michael is Future. No, I think Future Guy is just a toxic male, and Michael has to stop him. Tilly should be the first Borg queen. That would be funny. Oh my god, I'm totally the Borg, and being a Borg is awesome. I can, like, totally feel everybody. Alright. So, Saru and his sister are having a nice quiet moment in Saru's quarters, and now they're having sex. Just kidding. The power of math, yes. And Trigger, that's Michael Burnham in the Wasp suit after killing Thanos and saving the MCU. She's returning from the quantum realm. You're right, Luke! I think that ties it all together nicely. But you also got to figure in somehow how she's related to Rey. So, Saru and his sister are still blabbing about how she needs to stay. It's your typical ending where he's like, oh, you come with me. No, I need to stay because my people need me. But, you know, Saru doesn't give a crap, and he's gonna stay on Discovery. Hey, man, you forgot Pepper Potts. Yeah, we didn't get Pepper Potts in there somehow. And so, with that, I'm going to wrap up this episode, and I'll be right back, guys, because Mrs. Anti-Trekker just came in the room, so she needs to give me a report on what's going on. So, as a special treat to you, while Mrs. Anti-Trekker is briefing me, I will let you guys enjoy a little bit of a musical interlude. So, I'll be back in just a couple of minutes here.
He's dead.
Oh, that's funny. I forgot to unmute the audio, so you got to actually just enjoy the video. Sorry about that. So yeah, Mrs. Antrick had to fill me in on what she and Joshua were doing because he's, you know, as you guys know, Joshua's autistic, and so he had an appointment with Social Security to try and get Social Security benefits and all that. Here's the stupidity of our government system. So for those of you that are not in the United States, you know, we have a program called Social Security. I know that there's things called Social Security or and stuff like that in other countries, but just to make sure you understand, Social Security has a couple of purposes. One is to pay retirees once they reach a certain age who've been paying into Social Security. The other is as a benefit for those that are mentally or physically disabled, which is why we're trying to get Joshua on Social Security. And we had Joshua on Social Security once before when my income was a bit lower than it is now. I made a little enough to where we qualified to where he was getting. He was getting, you know, a couple $100 a month, blah, blah. And that was nice. However, then my income level went up. And so he no longer got benefits, which, okay, I can understand that. It sucks, but I understand it. And but here's the thing. Then they billed us for every penny they ever gave us. They made us pay back every bit of Social Security benefit that my son got. However, we didn't quite get it all paid off and they just stopped billing us at one point. And so we thought, okay, I guess we paid enough and they're done with us, right? So they just got back from the Social Security office and they are going to give him Social Security benefits, but they are deducting his first 3 months of benefits to pay back the benefits that he got like 10 years ago. That is the asinine thinking of our government. That, hey, people that don't make a lot of money, if we give them some help and then they just barely start making it, we're going to get all that money back from them. Because they can afford that. And, yeah. Zachary says, I have autism. They won't let me touch my Social Security even though I was laid off. That doesn't make a lot of sense, Zachary. But, you know, they have to, you know, and I know they do a battery of tests to determine whether or not you're capable of working or not. And it just depends on your competency in certain areas. And yeah, but yeah, that's just stupid. All right, so since we are now done, I'm going to show you guys this. I'm only going to spend a minute here. I had to reinstall City Skylines, so you can see the map is for the most part empty right now. There's a couple of highways and stuff that are on the anti-trekker map. I do love this map, I have to say. And there's Mr. Miles Island. Notice the district names are all gone because I had to restart. I haven't gotten that back on. But this is going to be Mr. Miles' Island. Hey, Ensign Ricky, good to see you. Yeah, well, the city saved okay, but here's what happened. Bird of Prey did a live stream where he was talking about all the various mods that he uses for City Skylines. And so I followed along and added all those mods to mine, and it crashed the game completely, and my save game file was corrupted, and so I have to start over. Fortunately, the map file was still intact, so I still have the map. Oh, what's your conclusion, final rating for the Star Trek Discovery? I don't know. It's tough because there are really great moments with Pike being a complete badass, and then there are some really cringe-inducing, horrifically bad moments. So I'm going to give it about between a 3 and a 4 out of 10 because while I really like the Pike moments, the crap moments outweighed it. All right, so this is Luke's area. This is basically, I don't know what we're going to call it yet for sure. Luke, if you're still with us, I hope you see this. And of course, since it is Luke's area, there's going to be a couple of things. First of all, we're going to have plenty of nuclear power plants because it's France. We're also going to have lots and lots and lots of French crap, right? So one thing that I did was, let me go and see if I can... All right, so I got a bunch of French buildings here. And I'll say, Ensign Ricky, I didn't cringe throughout the entire episode, but the stuff that did make me cringe pissed me off pretty royal. Although there's also, I mean, there was those badass moments from Pike. So here's a nice little French house. Oh, this one can be placed out in the middle of the woods for random reasons. Let's put, here's a nice little French building. So we have our French crap here. But, of course, no French setting would be complete without the Eiffel Tower. So, Luke, we're gonna, I gotta find a place that I can put it here. Right, okay, there we go. So, there we go, Luke. Your very own Eiffel Tower. Because, you know, that's what France needs. And, well, whatever. We need to come up with a new name for your France game. All right, so actually, I'll probably go higher than a 3.5. I'll say I'm going to give it. Honestly, I'm going to give it a 5. I think, at least my initial off-the-cuff reaction. I'll do a more in-depth review in a couple of weeks, but just my gut reaction is it's a 5 out of 10 because there are moments of awesomeness and moments of utter crap. Mixed together, it ends up being perfectly average. So that's pretty much it. Let's. I don't remember if. Oh yeah. So this is Bird of Prey's favorite thing in the world is the disasters mod. I did manage to get that one working. So instead of going up to between 1 and 10, the disasters can go up to a scale of 25. I don't know what a scale 25 sinkhole does, but we'll find out here. From your review on Trigger, this episode sounds like the worst of Season 2. It's really... Here's the problem. It has some of the worst moments of Season 2. But, oh, I just realized that the timer's not going, so it's not going to do anything unless I... Alright, there we go. But it's not the worst episode, but it has some of the worst moments. That's the problem. It also has some of the best moments. And in fact, I'll say this. The Pike stuff on the bridge was absolutely Star Trek Discovery at its best to date. If you had entire episodes of just Pike doing that kind of thing, it would be a 10 out of 10.
Geologists predict that a sinkhole could strike at any minute. Residents should take precautionary measures.
How did geologists determine that exactly? Well, there goes the Eiffel Tower.
Somewhere in the city. Stay out of harm's way and contact authorities with any information.
That was... There we go. So, that's what happens to the Eiffel Tower. It just dropped. Oh man, that was quite funny. And look, it even caused a minor tsunami, but of course, we don't believe in tsunamis, right? All right, guys. Wow. Just wow. Well, you want me to do? Well, the problem is there's nothing to do a meteor hit to. I mean, I guess I could put another Eiffel Tower down. Let's see. Where's the Eiffel Tower? We need to find a piece of road that we can put it on. How about, can we put it over here? No. How about down? Oh, I'll bet you, well, this is a nice flat area, but it's no roads. So let's put a road here just so that we can put the Eiffel Tower on it. And come on, stupid. Isn't that nice? We just got a whole gaggle of Eiffel Towers. Alright. So now we're going to test the true destructive force of a meteor. Enter, I imagine poor tourists stuck underground, living in a weird look at Doomcock. Yes. When you click on disaster, it warns you of when it's going to hit. Yes. I do know that. That is really actually kind of cool. Alright, so let's put the meteor right here in the middle. See if we can take out 4 Eiffel Towers with a single meteor hit. But the funny thing is that, like some disasters... Oh, yeah, you can't see, can you? I better pause the game before the stupid meteor hits. Alright. Thank you. I just realized that I forgot to bring the screen back up. Okay, so I placed 4 Eiffel Towers on this flat area. All right, and now let's watch the fun. Now the French people are complaining that they don't have electricity or water. Pretty soon they're going to complain about no sewage. So F them.
Will strike the city in the near
let's do something about
Residents
that.
Should seek shelter immediately if any is available. A meteor strike has occurred.
Yeah,
avoid the impact site and head to shelter if
oh
any is available.
Man. Now that's a nice little tsunami. Look at that. Too bad we don't have bird. This is where Bird of Prey's population area was before, and yeah, that tsunami. See, and this is what should have happened to the to the Kelpian village right here. If the Kelpian village was right here, then we should have seen waves like this come in, and look at that, just completely wipe out the Kelpians. That's what we should have seen. But no, we didn't get to see that. So I do like the water physics of this game. They can be annoying at times, but very cool as well. So if you have not played City Skylines, I do recommend it. It's a fun game. If you like SimCity, it really is SimCity on steroids. There are about 8 million mods that you can get for it. Some are very cool, very well done. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up because Mrs. A-Trick is home and I got to go to work in just a little bit, and I want to hang out with Mrs. A-Trick for a minute before I go to work. So you guys take care of yourselves. Have an awesome whatever the hell it is. And yeah, Star Trek Discovery still sucks. But man, Pike was awesome. I'm so torn. I really am.
Sing it! Sing it! Sing it!
My, this here Anakin guy.
Sing it!
Maybe Vader someday later, now he's just a small fry.
Sing it!
He left his home and kissed his mama goodbye.
Sing it!
Saying soon I'm gonna be a Jedi. Soon I'm gonna be a Jedi.
Sing it! Sing it! Sing it! Sing it!
See how good the boy could be. So we took him there and we told the tale how his Morty chlorons were off the scale and he might fulfill the prophecy.
Sing it!
Morty chlorons, Morty chlorons, Morty
Sing it!
chlorons, Morty
Sing it!
chlorons, Morty
Sing it!
chlorons, Morty
Sing it!
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 Morty
Sing it! Sing it!
Morty
Sing it!
Morty
Sing it!
Moral, Morty.
Sing it!
Moral, Morty.
Sing it!